Hello again, wingman. Today I'm going to show you what happens when you unexpectedly lose the engine of your fast jet while flying at low level and you're not flying directly over the top of an airport. I'll show you what to do, how to survive, and how you can recover yourself and your aircraft with minimal damage, intact and without ejecting. This excellent idea for a video came from subscriber B Rogers 4416. So if you've got any content you'd like to see me create, please remember to punch the subscribe button and drop your idea in the comments below. Coming into low level at this time on approach to Windermere. Third strike! Now let's just stop there and rewind to the moment just before impact so I can explain the logic of what happened next. You have noticed in previous videos that I am constantly checking fuel, altitude and speed when in low level. You'll see that we have 1250 kilos or 2,755 pounds of fuel. We're at around 1800 feet based on the QFE of RAF Valley or the atmospheric pressure at airfield elevation, which was 1025. We currently have a speed of around 465 knots and we're descending at 1500 foot per minute. The turbine gas temperature looks normal. One thing I haven't mentioned before is the Attitude and Heading Reference System, or AHRS. Runway 17 at Walney Island, which is the closest airstrip, has a localizer with frequency 110.150 MHz. This VOR, or VHF omnidirectional range, shows you the distance and bearing to the transmitter. Here you can see it's around 6.5 miles at a bearing of 292 degrees. Remember this because we're about to lose the AHRS when we lose the engine. We currently have a lot of kinetic energy and we're about to convert it to potential energy. We'll put the aircraft on her tail and climb as quickly as we can. A 2G climb is optimal. So I messed that up. I hit 7G. I will have lost us some altitude. Going to roll out at 200 knots to maintain a good airspeed for control, kicking the rudder over and rolling out. We point towards the west. Always remember, aviate, navigate, communicate, in that order. And remember your ABCs. Airspeed, best place to land, checklist, declare an emergency, and then execute. The second we contact air traffic control, which in this case would be Scottish based at Prestwick, they will be talking at us, and we need to get ourselves stable, flying the plane, and with a plan before we talk to them. From our current position, Blackpool Airport is 21 miles to the south, and if something went wrong with our recovery, that something wrong would be happening over a populated area. And another reason not to go that direction is because, well, it's Blackpool. Walney Island is only 7 miles to our west and is sparsely populated, and we can always point the aircraft at the sea and eject if something went wrong with our recovery. We made around 8,500 feet of altitude at the top of our escape ascent, and at our minimum drag speed of 185 knots with over 1,000 kilograms of fuel on board, we can make about 2 miles for every 1,000 feet of descent, so that's 17 miles of horizontal glide until we reach sea level. More than enough to get us to runway 23 of Walney Island. We'll continue maintaining 185 to 190 knots until we reach the 1-in-1. This is an imaginary slope of 1,000 foot of altitude for every 1 mile over ground starting at the threshold of the runway, such that 3,000 feet at 3 miles and 6,000 feet at 6 miles are both on the 1-in-1. When our glide slope intersects with the 1-in-1, we will lower the gear. The additional drag will mean that we have to lower the nose in order to maintain 175 knots of airspeed. Once the threshold of the runway is about 14 degrees below our horizon, we will fully deploy the flaps and point directly at the threshold
while maintaining 160 to 180 knots all the way down to the runway.
I can't believe we suffered a bird strike, and they're not even unionized. A droning sound you can hear is the automatic ram air turbine, which deploys when the pressure drops below 103 bar on hydraulic 2. Okay, let's run through the checklist. Forced landing checklist, glide, check, UHF power switch to battery, standby instrument switch to battery, squawk to 7700, which is emergency code, throttle HP off, fuel pump off, LP cock off, and engine start off. Okay, let's do it. Instrument to battery, VHF to battery. Engine start off. Fuel pump off. LP cock closed. And transponder to emergency. I think we overshot the warning 1 slightly, so let's go ahead and drop the gear. As soon as we've done that, we'll talk to ATC because we're now squawking emergency. Tally 25, bird strike, engine loss, turning inbound for direct FL on 230 Walney Barrow.
Tally 25, cleared to join at Walney, circuit clear, acknowledge.
Join, Tally 25.
Tally 25, continue with Walney Tower, 123.2, press 3.
Press 3, Tally 25. Walney Tower, Tally 25. Join, straight in on 230, force landing, 1023 set, gear down.
Tally 25, Walney Tower, roger. You're cleared landing. Surface wind 243, 16 knots. QFE 1025.
Cleared landing, QFE 1025, Tally 25. Okay, we're on the 14 degree intersect. You can see we're coming up on 7,000 feet descent rate. That means 10% of that is 700 feet. 700 feet will be our lowest minimal ejectable height. I'm aiming now directly for the threshold, in fact just slightly short of it. This is a 3,000 foot runway and we don't have much stopping time, so I'm aiming to land about a third of the way down the runway. Beginning rollout. Now, 3 stage. No eject. Pulling up, holding off, holding off, holding off. Down safe, speed 155.
It's the one and only Digo Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know what happened with the D.R.E.
As our speed drops below 130 knots, the output of the ram air turbine is negatively affected until we end up with no hydraulic power. I guess we should ditch in the grass after the taxiway. Walney Tower, Tally 25, require a tow, a large glass of Balvenie, and fresh underwear.
Tally 25, Walney.
There's no point to a procedural shutdown because this bird isn't flying for quite a while. Well, I guess I've got a fuselage covered in bird bits. This really is a bird-eat-bird world.
Until next time, Wingman.